Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Sitting in the garden of dreams. I'll have to owe Sofa King Drunk 50 quid now for using his copyrighted thing of dreams beer thing, won't I? Right, anyway, waffling on. Let's tell you what we've got coming up. Now you'll tell by the title, obviously, but what we've got coming up is another AB InBev beer, and it's Goose Island Midway Session IPA. Now this come in a big box that I picked up in Huddersfield from the Crate Escape. It was a Beer Hawk box that I think they were clearly getting rid of all these boxes because the website is now Perfect Draft, so they've changed their branding, so they're selling these off cheap. And what I got in this case was 20 beers and 4 gifts for 20 quid. So theoretically, the beers have cost me £1 a piece. And this is also available on the Perfect Draft. And I think it is only the second one. I've actually just done a review, Hogarden Rosé. And I definitely said that was one I haven't reviewed. And I think this is only the other beer that I've not reviewed on the Perfect Draft, so maybe that will happen sometime. Let's see how I get on with this one. So this beer is in a 330ml can. It's coming in at 4.1%. And funny enough, this was one of the free gifts in the box, a little 250ml Goose Island glass. So we're going to chuck it in there. Beer's just come out the fridge, so let's get it cracked open and see what we get. Now I have had it on Perfect Draft, and I've got to admit I did find it a little bit bland, a little bit boring. Whoa! And after all that chucking it around, it's decided to shoot its bolt a little bit lively. So as I was saying, I've had this on Perfect Draft and I found it a little bit bland, more of a Goose Island, you know, the full fat one if you like, the 5.9% job. That's really good. Not really a session IPA person, but we'll go with it. It was in that box, so why not review it? So let me just show you the artwork again. That's quite nice, hops on it and what have you. That's quite cool. There we go, the Goose Island branding. So, beer in a glass. There's still a little bit left in the can. It's got that typical sort of IPA look about it, if you like. Sort of golden with a light sort of amber tinge to it. There's plenty of bubbles going up the glass. We got a spacious finger of white head. Looks exactly as you'd expect. It looks, to be honest, it looks a little bit boring if I'm totally honest, but it's looking like it should. So let's give it a swirl and dive in with the nostrils and see what we get. Yeah, there's a little bit of hoppiness there. I'm going to say a little bit of grapefruit. Maybe a little bit of a sort of tropical note, but I'm going to say it's more grapefruit. And I don't think I cleaned the glass, and maybe the glass smells a bit funky, I don't know. But there is a little bit of a funny aroma, but ultimately hoppy grapefruit aroma. So let's get a bit more out of the can, get it in the glass, dive in. Goose Island Midway. Let's give her a try. Cheers. You know what, I'm quite surprised really. It does have quite a bit of flavour, in all fairness. Not lots of different flavour, but there is quite a bit of flavour in there. Get a bit more in there. Yeah, 4.1%. It's not the lightest sort of session IPA I've had in body, but it is quite light. If you want to be harsh, you could say it's a tad watery, but I'd maybe be being a little bit harsh with that. Not overly carbonated. There's enough bubbles in there to make it, you know, sort of bring it to life, make it a little bit more exciting. Pretty smooth. Mouth feels alright, can't really knock it there. Right, got enough room now to get the rest in. Give it a bit of a vigorous pour. It's better, a nice sort of creamier head on it. So on the taste, hoppy. It's definitely starting to feel a little bit watery now. Hoppy, I'm going to say a little bit of grapefruit in there, but not massively potent. I don't think even Sofa King Drunk would worry about that. I mean, it is minimal sort of grapefruit. And on the back end of it, or in the background, you sort of get a little malty undertone, if you like. Yeah, I mean, it's all right, but again, it is a little bit boring. It's typical sort of session IPA stuff. Like I say, it does have a little bit more flavour maybe than some. Not as in different flavours, but there's just a little bit more going on in it. The body, there's maybe a little bit more going on in it than some session IPAs. It's going to suit some people. It does say tropical refreshing. I did say there was maybe a little tropical note in there. I suppose you could say there's a little tropical sort of feel in the background, but it doesn't sort of hit you with that. Yeah, I suppose you get the hops, you get that sort of grapefruit thing is the biggest thing I think you get. There is a tropical sort of feel in the background, and then the back end maltiness. But yeah, still a little bit boring, doesn't do it for me. But there's going to be people that want a session IPA and like something a little bit less sort of punchy than a full-on sort of IPA. So Goose Island, Midway, session IPA. The session IPA is your thing, give it a go. It's probably worth picking up. Personally for me, it's a little bit light. Will I give it a go on keg? I don't know. I've got to admit the Hoegaarden Rosé I've just done was probably persuaded me more to give that a go again rather than this one, but it is what it is. So that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a go if you want to. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe and all that malarkey, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.